Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Dr. Glenn Vo. Thank you for tuning in for a special edition, another special edition, Nifty Thrifty Dentist podcast. I hate just bringing attention to COVID-19 coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even want to. I'm going to try my best not even talk about it. I'm so tired of it. But it's really all about adjusting to what's going on right now in our new normal. And I got my buddy, my friend, Aaron Boone from MVP Mailhouse today. Aaron, what's up, man?
Hey, great to be on here. Thanks for having me.
Man, so I wanted to bring you on because, man, you have such an awesome background, right? You're a business owner, professional athlete, dad, husband, you check all the boxes, man. And I know you have some awesome perspective on what's going on. But let me ask you right now, man. First of all, how are you doing, right, personally? And number two, how's the business doing right now in this kind of uncertain times?
Yeah, no, that's a fair question. And it's a little bit of everything. So personally, yeah, life has changed. You know, I'm a pretty active, pretty involved dad, but man, new appreciation has came as I've stepped in a couple days of homeschooling. I got 4 kids between the ages of 4 and 11, all on their own curriculum. And man, it's a zoo at home more than ever. You know, a few of you might be friends with me on Facebook and seen some of my posts, but yesterday I posted a massive fort. We had the entire living room with blankets. And that's the good thing about me being home is I build the forts that I couldn't as a kid. And now I can actually build the adult version of these forts. So my kids are loving that part of it. So that part of things is good. You know, it's kind of funny seeing some of these memes of before family pictures of people are all sitting on the couch on their phones. And post COVID-19, they're actually out walking around the neighborhood and doing all these activities together. So I'm actually one that is doing those things all the time. A super active family and super active kids. And so that's been fun. You know, personally, it is a unique dynamic of just that 24/7-ness, you know, of being around and still trying to work and be productive. But having a kid, you know, screaming over your shoulder and, you know, you're on a webinar or you're, you know, look, I came into the office today for this. It's just a couple blocks from my house. So that's how I have the pretty backdrop. This isn't in my basement. Personally, yeah, it's, you know, we're getting through it. We're trying. I've had, you know, a few personal people actually affected by it. And that's been hard. I had a former boss, owner of one of my football teams that I played for, die from it.
I saw that, yeah.
And, you know, so that made it a lot more real, you know, where we're kind of removed from it. I feel like day to day, I don't live in New York or one of these big cities where it's super affected, but that made it a lot more real for me to see. Even, you know, matter of wealth, it didn't really matter. It got him and he died. And that was hard. But on a business level, I'll be honest, I feel like I relate with a lot of offices, you know, when things come to a screeching halt. MVP Mailhouse, we only work with dentists and we only do direct mail. So we are very streamlined and we are eat, sleep, drink patients, new patients to dental offices. So when our clients can't see new patients, we come to a screeching halt as well. So I feel like I'm in this with you guys. I'm figuring out the same struggles you are, the SBA loans and the employees and the management and where you go from here. So I guess that's a answer to your question there.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you what, man. Yeah, we're all kind of navigating this, and the thing is I wanted to bring you on because, you know, you have that perspective of you know, you're a small business owner too. You work with dentists. You work with so many of us that you hear all our struggles and all our goals and things what we want to do, and you know. What I've been bringing on a lot of different professionals. I wanted to bring you on as well because you're kind of the leader in the direct mail space for dentists, right? You're not one of these companies that work with everybody else. You work with dentists, so you know specifically what we're facing. And I've been telling people we're facing something that's going to be like a new normal, right? I mean, yes, hopefully, I mean, this is going to end. That's the one thing we know. This is going to end. Things will get better, right? Things will get better. But the way we interact with our patients is going to change. What we market to their patients is going to change, you know? So I wanted to come up with, you know, action plans here. So number one, we're at home a lot, you know, spending time with our family. That's the good thing, right? We're also trying to work with our business. So action steps on what we should be doing right now, right? And then also later on, how can we move forward what kind of marketing, should be in our mailers. So moving forward, because, you know, I'll tell you what, people are really scared now, right? And, you know, when things go back to normal, they're going to be scared going back to work. They're going to be scared being around people. They're going to be scared doing their normal things. And one of those things is going to the dentist, you know, like we got to have a message there. So let's start with the first thing, Aaron. Right now, what should we as dental professionals, what should we be doing right now? You know, when we're at home and got all this time on our hands and we can only see emergency patients. What should we be doing right now, Aaron?
You know, so I don't know. I mean, I'm wearing a shirt that says I'm a victor, not a victim. And, you know, I know it's easier said than done, and I don't want this to come across, you know, too casual or lack of empathy. I mean, I'm living the same struggles, trust me, with my employees and with my business. But I do think there's something to be said for my personality. My mentality is I want to win. Okay. And I'm willing to good, better, best, never let it rest. You know, I'm going to keep grinding. And I was like an undersized chip on your shoulder football player, right? From a small town that grew up on a goat farm. Like, chances of me getting to the college level alone, let alone pro football for 9 years, were so small.
Yeah.
But I couldn't have that victim mentality. And trust me, I know it's easier said than done, but I feel like as I've talked to, you know, dentists across the country over the last 10 years, so many times 2008 came up for practices that were struggling.
Yeah.
It was always a constant kind of reminder. It was almost like a crutch that people use. Oh, well, no, I was up and on the uppity up, things were looking good. And then 2008 hit. And I'm like, dude, it's 2018 now. It's 2020 now. And what have you done over the last 10 years? So I guess what I'm getting at, number one, is let's don't use this as that crutch, as that, I don't know, I hate to use the word excuse, but like, as it is a problem, 100%. It is drastically affecting every one of us. Our businesses, our livelihood, our families, our kids. I mean, you're looking at your kids going to college. Like, it has some crazy tentacles. And the more people I talk to, the more ripples I see. Every industry, just about. You know, I mean, outside of a couple of buddies that are selling things on Amazon, you know, that are doing well, everyone is feeling this pain.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess my number one is psyche of leaders, of you dentists especially that own these practices, that are working in them, is have that victor mentality. I'm going to get through this.
Yeah.
When you wake up in the morning, it can't be that negative. I'm going to sleep another hour. I'm going to pull these sheets back over my head and pretend it didn't happen. It's happening and it sucks. But what are you willing to do today? What can you do today to get a step ahead? Even if it's just a little step, just don't go backwards. Okay. Yeah. Don't stand still. So anyway, sorry, that's my rah-rah. That's the coach in me.
No, and I love that, because I think that, you know, if you look at everyone's life, right? A lot of times people think that your life is defined by your accomplishments, right? I personally think it's defined by the obstacles you get through. That's actually what defines who you are. It's not like, oh yeah, I got this or I did this. No, it's the lessons that are etched and burned into our soul are the ones like, man, I had to dig down deep that one time. And then you think about like, hey, I don't ever want to go back there. Or you're thinking like, oh man, I'm glad I got through that. And think about how, you know, we talk to think about our kids, you know, you think about like, oh man, kind of don't want him to do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want him to ever go through that. You don't ever think like, well, man, I played college football. No, you want them to do that, right? But you think about all the hardships there. And I think that I'm a glass half full type of guy. Yep. And yeah, this is terrible. This is going bad. But I'll tell you what, everybody sitting at home is learning a little bit about themselves right now.
Yep.
I love
it's
that.
True.
It's true. Yeah. So the mindset thing, I love how you went straight to that, because so many times people are like, hey, you should be doing this. But really, I mean, you got to get your mindset right. You know, whether that's talking to other people, you know, get inspired by others, working on yourself. Hey, look, if you ever felt like you needed some work on being a leader or being more organized or whatnot, what better time?
Yep.
And right now.
I agree. Get your arms around it, get the coaching, get good information, and then start making decisions and moving forward. So, I mean, credit to all the dentists out there. You guys do hard things. You've already proven to yourself just to the level that you are. Yeah. What percentage of the world has got to the level that you are? Just getting your degree, it's awesome. So you are an expert. You have accomplished, you've done hard things. You've proven to yourself and to the world you can. Now we just got to do it again, whatever that might be. Okay. So that's number one. So now specifically about, I guess, in my world and how I see, how, through my lens, and granted it's dentistry and direct mail, but with direct mail comes a lot of tentacles. Okay. There are a lot of variables, a lot of levers that we try to control when we put together these postcards, from the design elements to the offers, to the homes that you target, to the front desk, how they're answering calls.
Oh, Aaron, I got to bring up something since you brought that up, as far as answering the phones and whatnot. So I did a mailer with you, gosh, I want to say in the beginning of the year, right? And I actually got an email from you guys not too long ago. I was like, hey, look, these people are still calling from way back then. And you were still like, I was actually really, really happy that you are still keeping up with that. And it's like, despite what we're going through. And so I think that's something important, because look, I'm still working on them. I'm working on right now. And that's, how you answer the phones and follow up and whatnot. What better time to work on that, right? Which is so important, because the thing is like, you can have the best mailer in the world, right? But if your team, it's a partnership, right? Like, yep. I mean, Aaron, you can run the best route in the world, right? But if the ball's sailing over your head and it goes 10 yards down there, I don't care who you are. You ain't catching that ball, right?
No,
so let's talk about that.
Well, you bring up an interesting thing. So right now, as a company, as MVP, I'm not selling postcards today. I don't recommend to mail today. Okay. This is what I do for a living. And I'm telling you, I wouldn't mail postcards today. Okay. Do I have some offices that are still doing a few? Yeah. But for the most part, screeching halt, right? So here's what we are doing, and what I've challenged our whole team to do is, and this is what I think dental offices should be doing too, bring value to your customers. I'm bringing value to our customers right now. We're still monitoring our tracking lines. You missed a call. I think it was from your September, October mailing, actually.
Oh, so really? Okay. I thought it was the January.
And it was actually an emergency call. Hey, I have an emergency. And for some reason, they'd held on this postcard, put it on their fridge or whatever. And it happens. We get calls months down the road. So we keep these tracking lines active just in case. But right now, that's the type of calls. I see calls still coming in for, hey, I'd like to get a new patient get in for my cleaning. Okay, well, we're going to have to put you down the road, and that's okay. But emergencies are still happening. Those don't go away. In fact, I kid you not, me and my wife are literally driving to her dad, who's a dentist. Today, we have to. Her front veneers cracked right off, and it's just killing her right now. She's at, 10 or 12 years, and she is in a significant amount of pain. As we speak, we are going to a dentist today. Wow. So anyhow, that's a side note. So back to what I think you do now, and I'll talk about later here in a couple of what we do later. But right now, what are you doing to, one, bring value to your patients, because they are your number one, right? Along with your staff, like they are your number one. That is what is going to get you out of this sooner rather than later, is get your patients back to you. So that's number one. Number two, I think is some other things, is like improve your, some things that I'll talk about. But back to the number one, customer value. Well, I'm reaching out to my existing customers and letting them know, keeping them going. So what can you do? How many dentists out there have actually called an existing patient out of the blue and just said, hey, I'm thinking about you? Someone that maybe just got treatment 3-4 weeks ago or something big. Have you made that phone call? Think about it. If you're on the other end and you got a call from your dentist, hey, just checking on you. They're sitting at home, same thing with kids running around or whatever. And it's, wow, my dentist actually care. Even if you just leave a voicemail, that is care. Okay. Number two, have you reached out to your own staff? Have you delivered cookies to them? Have you delivered a card? Put it in the mail. Something that's personal, heartfelt. It's going to take minutes of your time, but I promise you, people don't forget things like that. Think back, like, I remember when my wife had our last child. A couple of our neighbors prepped a meal for us and brought it over. I don't even know that I ate more than one bite of it. It was like the worst chicken noodle soup I've ever had. But I will never forget that act of kindness and that care and love that they brought to our family. Even though, so it's not so much what it is, it's the thought that you made that action. You made the effort to make that chicken soup. That's what matters to me. Yeah. And that neighbor's always on my good list, my great list. Like I know they cared about me in my time of need. So, something to maybe think about as a practice. What can you do to bring value to patients? Another thing is make sure someone's still answering your phone calls. Yeah. Okay. Whether that's, even if it's forwarded through to you, I don't care. I mean, if you have to literally answer your own phone calls, someone needs to be on those calls, because we're still tracking lots of calls each day across the country, and they're still ringing. People are still asking. There's still new patients calling. There's obviously existing patients having questions or concerns or wonders. And then there's still emergency that could, if you're able to still see people one day a week or whatever, I mean, those can fill in some of the cracks of the bills as you see some of those patients. So those are kind of from a care standpoint, I guess. Any thoughts or comments on those?
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And guys, if you like what you're hearing right now, right? So that's some awesome information. Type in the comments section MVP if you like what you're hearing right now. I love that. I love the idea of, obviously we want to keep up with our patients, but I love the idea of keeping up with your team and sending them something during this time. Because look, if we're worried, can you imagine what they're going through, right? I mean, they're probably just as worried. They're probably worried about, am I teaching my kids the right thing? Is everything okay with my spouse? All those things that we're worried about, right? It's so funny because you were talking about what you were doing with your kids earlier. And like literally before I jumped on here, I literally had to teach a lesson. My son did his spelling words wrong, made him do it again. He was all mad. I just made him do it. And I was thinking to myself, man, this is hard, but I just got to get through it. I love those things, Aaron, because the thing is that you got to make sure that you're all in with your team, because eventually this is going to end, right? And your team's going to remember, man, Dr. Vo, he made those cookies. They were terrible, man, but he made them for me. That's awesome. I love that. So, man, there's going to be different things like as far as like new normal and whatnot. And I keep on going back to that because, patients are going to be scared coming back, right? First of all, they're going to be scared to spend money. And then let's say you get past that barrier. Now they're scared, like, okay, is it safe for me to come? Mm-hmm. What should I need to get done? We have patients who they've been needing a crown, right? Yes, technically it's not an emergency, but the longer you wait, the worse off you're going to get. So what kind of message can we send out to the community? Because you know what? Believe it or not, maybe some patients weren't as loyal to their dentist and they're not sure. They're like, I don't know if it was clean there. Maybe so how do we reach those people who we know they need to see a dentist? Yeah. Right? But they're scared and they're not sure. What's the best way to do that? Obviously, if we're going to do it from a direct mail standpoint.
Right. Well, I think, anyone and everyone is speculating, right? What is, and I've mailed tens of millions of postcards and tracked the results of everyone, every call, what they ask about, what offer, where they cash, where they insure. I mean, trust me, I eat, sleep, drink this all day, and I follow it all the way through to production into offices, practice management softwares. And I still think it's, at the end of the day, it's still going to be my best guess. And and regardless whether you're doing this online, whether you're doing this through direct mail or through TV, whatever, it is still what is going to resonate. What I typically do is, well, what resonates with me? Yeah. What would push me over the edge? I mean, my wife, 80% of calls that we see coming in are from females. Okay. So one, you gotta resonate with mom most of the time. And I think those design elements are really important, but let me backtrack just a hair of what can you do now to help put you in better position here in a couple months to start seeing that. And I think right now, outside of those things that we just talked about, be a victor, get your staff, get your customers, all those things happy, those patients. I think there's a couple tools that we do that I do free for the Nifty Thrifty audience. That one is identify where your true core is. Oh yeah. And what we do is we built some really cool software where we do a free heat map analysis. I'll pin drop out your new patients over the last couple of years. And I think more than ever, you need to, for lack of better words, own your hood.
Yeah.
Like, own your areas. I think these coming months, maybe throughout the coming year, you're going to see less and less people willing to go take this chance and come 10, 20 miles away because, at a chance. You got to, when I pin drop out your patients, it is eye-opening to see where most of them live. 70 to 80% of them are just within actually this smaller radius in these neighborhoods right around your office. So own those neighborhoods. And that's one of the beauties of direct mail is we can specifically target just those neighborhoods rather than go out far. So right now, I recommend an office if they don't know where their patients are coming from. And I'm not talking about like a zip code report out of your Dentrix or Open Dental or whatever you got, right? I'm talking about actually pin dropping these out right down to your hottest neighborhoods. So understand your core area. Okay. Those are the people, because their next door neighbors are your potential new patients, your best chance of getting new patients, these closest nest people. So that's number one. We do a free heat map analysis. Number two is any offices that is already mailed with us. I'm doing a free front desk analysis where I'm going back and reviewing the calls that their staff has taken.
Oh, I love that.
And I'm grading them again based on other offices in the country. So what's your average closing rate? How many calls are you missing versus a typical practice? Who are your top closers within your office? It's pretty cool to see Stephanie's closing at 87%, Nicole's closing at 78%, and then you have Tina and Mary down at 12. Well, don't let them answer the phone call moving forward, or at least get him trained, because they are dropping touchdowns. So that front desk analysis, if you've done a mailing with us, let's go back and we'll happily do this. So understand too, I have bandwidth right now. I have designers, I have call scorers, and neither of them have designs or calls to score. So we're going back and reevaluating some of these things. And I'm trying to bring value to an office to understand what they have so that we can make improvements over the coming months. So when the sun does shine again, and I'm telling you guys, it will shine again, you're ready and you're in better position. Your front desk has, we've had the training on what they need, or you have it in place ready for them when they come back, for those bottom two performers. Okay. And then I think the message to that next part is, what is that message? I think it needs to come across more personal and more genuine than ever. And it can't just be the standard, corporate type stock, maybe even stock photos. Like, it needs to be a real message from you. Because at the end of the day, the buck stops with you, the dentist, right? I mean, that's where it always escalates up. That's a good or bad, like that's the ultimate one. So if you can be there, and this is how you combat with corporate dentistry too. Oh yeah. Right now, where they don't know if they're going to see one of 10 different revolving dentists when they come in for their appointment. Hey, there's Dr. Vogt right there. I know that guy. I trust that guy. And that's for your existing patients, but your non-ones, think about it, put yourself in that shoe. Well, I could trust a guy like that. Yeah. Look, look what he's saying it right there in front of us. So we're working on a lot of Starburst editions. We're looking on a lot of like personal, a little more personal, review based. Let other people say you're awesome rather than just you always saying, no, we're the best practice around. Well, work up, see if I have a design here real quick with just really review heavy and personal message heavy. Here's one, the stars have aligned, and it's, you probably can't see it that far, but it's really heavy on the reviews. Yeah. Let other people and look for some of those type of reviews that talk about cleanliness.
What about like a statement from the dentist, like obviously an image of them, or maybe with their family, and maybe like a statement like saying, hey, we want to welcome everyone to our practice, and like a statement like we 100%.
Have. Yeah, and that's what I meant by that, like that personal, like even with a picture and a statement and a quote right there, that it's coming from you, it's coming from your team, and that reassurance, I think it really helps. It's personal, and it's less just another one of the many, right? Because they have options, right? There's plenty of dentists. In most areas, but make it authentic, make it genuine. And right now is the time to work on that. In fact, I would get that messaging up on your website now, on your social media. For your existing customer base, just let them know that, hey, we're taking this really seriously, but we care, and we're making a difference.
Well, why not? If you have the time right now, which most of us do, we know that we're going to do that, right? If there's things that you want to do in your mailer or website or whatnot, why not just start working on it now? Why not just have it ready so that when it gets close to that time? And the great thing about working with Aaron is that he's kind of monitoring everything. I mean, I'm not going to wait until the second that, the president or our state or whatnot says, okay, yeah, you can do everything. No, I'm going to send it before. I'm not going to wait till right when it starts. I'm going to wait before. And that's the great thing of working with Aaron. So Aaron, you were telling me earlier that you got some really cool things that you want to show us here. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what you got to share here.
Well, I mean, mainly just some things that I have, and I wanted to do, I'll do a more, we just launched some really cool features. Okay. Number one, and I'm not going to show this particular one because kind of the confidentiality behind it, but we just launched this really cool thing. It's called our MVP Design Lab. Okay. I have postcard after postcard that we've mailed all across the country, right? We track every single call that comes from these. Well, we built this design lab where on our end, it shows every design that we've mailed, and it compares them based on results, based on calls, based on offers, based on demographics, population density, all these nerdy things that you guys probably don't want to know about. But for our end, it helps us find the top things on from a design aspect of what's working. When you do this offer, 72% of the callers are cash-based and scheduling. When you do this offer, or when you do this type of imagery. So we've built this design lab where I want to take out a little bit, to a degree, this, sometimes we'll send a design over and, we kind of go back and forth, like either they don't like it or they love it, but I'm like, I don't really like it. I want to try to take out a little bit of some of that and go to the analytics of what works. Because back to sports, I want to put you in the best position possible.
It almost sounds like when you go buy a house and you buy a new house and you go to the design center and you kind of pick out all the fixtures and stuff like that. Like, hey, do you think of this? Do you like this? It sounds like that's kind of like what this is. And it makes more sense because, think about it. When you buy a house, it's not like, hey, we got this right here. Do you like this or not? And then, wife's going to say, oh, no, I don't like that backsplash.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah. It sounds like this. Is that kind of like what it is?
Yeah. So it's an analytical approach to your design of what works the best in similar type demographics, population densities, areas, because there's practices all across the country, right, that we mail for, and we track them all to find what resonates. And that's where I'm getting with this review-based personal statement message type stuff is because I think the other thing on that we're noticing a lot as we track the results from these is a lot of our most successful offices aren't coming across with just a single message. Like, we are the source for implants and we do implants all day, every day. Because what we find is that person that needs 3 crowns didn't call because they think you only do implants. Or that person that wanted Invisalign didn't call because they think you only do implants. So our most successful practices that I see, they're the ones that are willing, and this is something to think about, I think, moving forward with dentistry, is rather than just throwing this one kind of haymaker approach, is I think more and more your bigger cases, because of this scare, are going to come from trust, a position of trust, and existing patients that have came to you, and you've proven yourself in the small things, so they're willing to trust you with the big things, rather than just someone walking off the street. And trust me, I mean, I've seen $20,000, $30,000 cases come from our postcards all the time, historically. But that might be a little harder moving forward. They've got to come in and you got to earn their trust. So I think some of the messaging, and we've worked up, I don't know, probably 20 or so different type starbursts and ideas of different things how you can promote the post-COVID-19 type message. And what I think I could either just attach it. Maybe my thought is, let's just put it in here. I'll even send you high-res versions of these starbursts for free. If there's any that you like, just personal message me, hey, I like this one, and I'll get that. You can start putting that stuff on your website right now. So they're Starburst. We can even change the color to match your brand or your logo or whatever you want. So remember, I have all full-time designers here. We have bandwidth and we have time, and I want to keep them productive. I want to create value. I want to make cookies right now, and I hope you'll eat them and like them.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, that's super generous. And guys, like I said, we'll put in the comment section there about what Aaron is offering. And if you're an existing customer like myself, okay, really just talk to them about, just have them review those calls, because what better time to work on those type of things, right, than right now, right? What better time to think about like a message that you want to send out, run it by them. I mean, MVP Mailhouse is part of your team, part of your marketing team, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like the special teams here. You got to give them like what you want to have planned out right now. Okay. I mean, right. I mean, we're not just going to return this punt the normal way. We're going to do like maybe a double reverse or something, maybe what they did at do you remember that miracle in Nashville? When they did that kickoff, you remember that, right? Maybe we can pull something like that right now. But no, I love that stuff, Aaron. I love that. And
Dr. Vogt, my for existing customers, I know there's many of you out there. I mean, my recommendation right now is you have time we have some of the best tracking and reporting in my mind out there. Let's look, and I want you to know what you've got to this point. Whether you did a mailing 18 months ago, 12 months ago, 6 months ago, let us sync that up for you. So you have real dollars, real names, real patients. It's called our MVP Audit. And those are things right now to get your arms around. So what's your best play moving forward. And you should be doing the same thing in my mind with any of your marketing that you've done historically. Now's a chance to kind of catch those things up to speed. And here's the problem. If you just go and run a new patient report by source in your system, I can promise you it's not going to be accurate. When I look at the front desk, bless their heart, they try, but patients just aren't that forthcoming all the time, or you forget. I mean, I look at new patient data all the time, and I'm, rarely, if an office has 50 to 70% correct, it's normally pretty good. Like most of the time, I'm seeing at least 50% of people that I have recordings from, because they called the postcard, that aren't tagged to their direct mail in their open data.
Yeah, they say something. They're put in like magazine, or they're put
in billboard. I don't even have a billboard. So because we use some really unique tracking, I can go back and I can show you the homes we actually mailed to, how many days later they became a patient, if they called the postcard, or if they were just influenced by the postcard. So if you've done a mailing with us at any point, let's do this audit for you. All you need to do is I got instructions for you. Run this quick little report. I'll sync everything up for you, so you have a true ROI, and you can make an informed decision. Hey, this is part of my arsenal when I come back online here.
I love it. I love it, guys. You like what you're hearing right now? Type in the comments section MVP for MVP Mailhouse. So, Aaron, a lot of vendors, coaches, dentists, all these people I've been bringing on for all these Facebook Lives. I always ask them this one question, because man, this is like a time that who knows if this ever will happen again, right? Hopefully never happen again. But I mean, it's never happened before where, we've had crises before, right? We had 9/11, 2008, all these different things that most people our age remember, right? And it changed the way things were done in our country, right? But never have we had a crisis where we are separated from our loved ones. We're separated from the things that we love. We're forced to be in a certain area there, and a lot of people, they're trying to cope with this as best as they can. And so I ask everybody that comes on, it can be a business piece of advice, life piece of advice. I just want some kind of advice, or what you would say to all of those who are watching right now, who are going through this right now. What's the best piece of advice that you can give someone to kind of navigate this?
Yeah. So, I kind of, I guess, jumped a little bit early, and I'm going to go back to kind of the shirt mentality here is, and I got this on Amazon. So one of you guys, I get it, but this is kind of our mantra and what I'm talking with my own team, because this is greater than being a victor. I think there's a lot more to life than just work. Right. And there's family, there's kids, our own kids that maybe, we really addressed how scared they are. What do they really understand? Or are they just busy building forts and you're happy with them? So I feel like that number one thing that I mentioned earlier, that mentality of being a victor as we go through this, is one of the most important, I think, motivational messages for us. Because not only does your home, well, you personally need to have that mindset and that kind of mental resolve and toughness, but your family does, your neighborhood, your community, your church, your country. I mean, the stronger that each individual can be, the stronger we can be collectively. Your team needs to know that you're going to help us get through this.
Yeah.
They're looking for leaders, and you guys are leaders. You dentists out there, you office managers out there, you guys are leaders. And I feel like my favorite quote that I hung in every locker room, right? Dallas Cowboys, it was up there in every locker room I was in. And it's simple, but it says, work will win when wishy-washy wishing won't.
Yeah.
Okay. We can wish it. We can want it all day, but unless we're willing to work to overcome these things, and I know I'm preaching to the choir. You guys got through dental school. Man, I'm not smart enough to do that. Right. But I know you guys found a way, and some of you guys probably weren't smart enough, but you were willing to work and just cram in enough information to get past it. And now you're awesome. And now you're an expert. So be willing to work and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. This is a hard time, no doubt about it, but have that victor mentality and not the victim, because time is going to tell. You're going to see here in 2 months, in 2 years, in 20 years, the quicker you're able to get out of this mud, the faster your trajectory is going to be. But if you wallow in it, if you have that kind of mentality of, it got hard, or this happened, or, just like I told you earlier on, still to this day, dentist after dentist, if it wasn't for 2008, I would have been there.
Yeah.
Don't be that. Don't let it take you. Find a way.
Yeah.
And it may mean that you're starting from scratch. It may mean that, there's going to be some that lose their practice, that lose their business. It's a reality, but don't let that define you, I guess. Find a way to get that out, and work will win when wishy-washy wishing won't. Wish it all day, but just keep working, put one foot in front of the other, and try to find something productive today that you can cross off that task list. I accomplished this for the good today. My Saturday chore list, I literally will take the trash out, take out trash, and then cross it off, just so I have something that I accomplished, right? I started, get that ball moving for you personally, but also your practice and your business.
I love that. Guys, like I said, if you love what you're hearing, type in the comments section, MVP Mailhouse. And guys, I want to let y'all know that all the Facebook Lives that we do, I turn it into podcast episodes. So there's a whole bunch of podcast episodes for everyone. And I'll tell you what, if you are not wanting to work out one of these days, or do something, and you just feeling sorry for yourself, you need to come back to this episode and just listen to that. I'm literally going to scroll to this part, right? I'm going to listen to this before I work out, because that just literally hyped me up, man. It literally did. And Aaron, first of all, I want to say, I've been saying this to everybody that comes on. I had a meeting with a lot of the vendors not too long ago, and I'll be honest, not everyone showed up. But Aaron showed up, and he was there, and he was willing to just give something back to this community. So Aaron, I want to say thank you to you for doing that, because you got your own problems, man. Everyone does, right? But you're willing to come on because you really care about this community. You really care about the dentists you work with. So I want to thank you for doing that for me and for us. And guys, I want y'all to understand that, when the dust settles and everything gets better, I just want you to remember who's there, right? Like I really care about this community. That's why I'm doing these constantly. And the vendors that really care about you guys, they're coming on, and they're giving their time, and they're willing to work with you guys. So again, Aaron, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
No, I appreciate what you do. I'm learning from the group. I literally was reading through some of the SBA questions and the thoughts, and I do it every day. I'm on there, and it's part of trying to make me a better me, a better leader, a better business owner as well, and all those things. And you know what? I'm going to throw out a freebie right now. Right now is not the time to sell. It's not the time to do those things. Right now is the time to give. And I'm willing to do let's do, so I have designers with bandwidth right now, right? And they're very talented. All we do is dental work. So if there's anyone out there that has a logo that they don't like, an old one, maybe one they inherited from a previous doc or whatever, I'm the first 10 people to message me. I'll do a free logo makeover.
Oh, that's awesome.
Our designers to work. I'm paying them. They're here. We want to be productive and proactive and doing things. So the first 10 to respond, I'll do a free logo makeover. Whether you've never even heard of us, I don't care. Reach out to us. Let us do some work for you. The next
so awesome.
Is that heat map. Let's do some free heat maps. Let me show you where your patients are coming from, and you can decide how to target their neighbors, whether it's at community events, school events, postcards, online, whatever you want to do. I'll do a free heat map analysis for any office that comments on this too, okay?
I love it. I love it, guys. Yeah, comment in the comments section. I'll also connect with you guys with Aaron as well. He's in the group, so he's always looking as well. Reach out to him. Ask him questions. He's a wealth of information. And you know what? I mean, if you want to talk football, I'm sure he'll humor you too. I have my fingers crossed. The season will start on time, but we'll see. But Aaron, thank you so much for jumping on, man. I appreciate you, man. And guys, for those who are watching, we'll see you guys later.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Dr. Bill. Bye.